What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Socially Awkward Podcast. My name is Adam. This is Ryan. How you doing today, sir?
What's going on, man? I'm doing pretty. I'm all right. I'm feeling a little scrubbish, but I'm all right now. I can't say I'm doing pretty good. I am doing pretty good. I feel okay. I didn't shave today, so still need to go take a shower.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with some scruff though. Every now and then you need some scruff.
Every now and then, yeah.
Have you ever seen me with a shaved face?
No, never.
I look like somebody you would never let your kids hang around for 5 seconds.
That. Oh, you mean completely bare booty naked?
Just like shaved.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what
I've
I
never
mean?
seen that. You'll never see me like that either. Right? You might see me one time. I might do a cosplay of Mace Windu, but yeah, no, it's horrible.
I used to shave, just because I just did. But as little, like my hair doesn't grow in super thick, but I've realized that even as thick as it, like it's thick enough to where I look much better rocking this than I do just the shaved. It just I can't go back. It's too
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you because it's like every time if I shape it real close, like that looks weird.
Yeah, I don't even trim it super short anymore. I use a 2 guard. I just kind of do with the 2 and just let it be. And then I won't shave it, but I'll use like the bare clipper, like the big clipper, so it's pretty low, but it's a little tiny bit of scruff on the neck, and then 2 on there, and then I don't know why I'm telling you all my sizes on my hair.
That's not good, I know. Hey, that's what it's about. It's like men grooming.
It's actually about that time. We're starting to look. There's a fine line between looking good and then you just look like you need a job.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I mean, you're like looking hella rough and like, oh, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I was doing some TikToks and just like because the Book of Boba Fett on Disney Plus just premiered today, so I was like doing some TikToks, like, oh man, I need to shave, I need to lose some weight. I'm like, fuck this shit. I'm looking rough.
All right, so last episode, it was pretty serious. This episode is the exact opposite. Thank God. We are going. Is that music?
What are you talking about? This is serious.
Is that music overbearing?
No, you're good.
Okay. Spider-Man, No Way Home. Now, finally, we got to watch it, or we're getting to review it because somebody decided to take their sweet ass time and watch it like a week after it came out.
Listen,
I'm not gonna mention any names, but it rhymes with Ryan. Listen, I mean, crying.
I wanted to. So first of all, I wasn't going to see it on the fucking day of premiere because I'm like,
that is a nightmare.
In a fucking pandemic and without a pandemic going.
Would you fucking stop? Dude, it's a virus. Everyone's going to get it at some point.
Okay, whatever. But without that, a fucking premiere for this movie alone, a premiere is fucking insane.
Premieres for these kind of movies are insane for sure.
So I'm
it's like Black Friday for movies,
man, bro. It's like crazy. So I'm like, you know what? I'm 40 years old. I don't need that. I can go anytime I fucking want to now. I'm a grown ass man. Yep. I buy my own tickets. Yep. But no, yeah, and I had my daughter, so I was like, I wasn't gonna take her out there because she wasn't really that interested to sit through a 2.5 hour movie to watch Spider-Man.
How old's your daughter?
5.
Does she give a shit about superhero stuff yet?
She likes Spider-Man. We watched Into the Spider-Verse, and she was actually interested in that. And but
that's the cartoon one, right?
Yeah, the animated one. And she'll watch Spidey on Disney Plus, the Spidey Kids, or wherever it is on Disney Plus. But like superheroes, no, like she ain't like super. She's
at that age where she'll watch it, but it's still like she still prefers like the cartoon version of stuff.
Yeah,
she doesn't really get into like the real people type superhero stuff yet.
Yeah. I mean, she'll watch it like live action shit for a little bit and say, I'm kind of bored. I'm gonna watch something else.
Yeah,
I'm cool. I mean, I was like the same way when I was a kid. So, but yeah, I mean, but she'll watch live action shit on YouTube, like people's like YouTube channels and shit like that, and it's crazy. And she'll watch those things all day long. The kid stuff. I'm like, all right, well, I gotta see her. I'm gonna make sure you ain't watching nothing crazy because YouTube out there.
Hey, it's not as bad as TikTok, but it's pretty. Yeah, they can get lost on YouTube watching fucking nothing.
Yeah. For real.
Yeah, it's cool though because my oldest is 15 and she's a tomboy and she's actually it's weird. Like we're not talking about trans today, but she's she's doesn't know yet. Okay, let's put it that way. And
Is she like not binary?
no, I mean, we call her she. I mean, she's our daughter, but she dresses like a boy. She has a boy haircut, and we let her do all that. And basically, I'll keep this very short. The conversation we've told her is that if that's the way it is, fine. And look, because I love you, because I love you as a person. I don't give a shit what if you're a boy or a girl. That's irrelevant to me. I want you to be happy. But I
Yeah.
said, but how we're going to handle this is that when you become an adult, if that's still how it is, then that's just how it is. But right now, when you're 15, you're just going to be a kid and be a 15-year-old kid, and we're going to leave all the um the serious like transition, like all like the serious life changing things. We're just gonna let you focus on being a kid for now, and we'll deal with all that later. Like, and that's just how we're handling. And
Okay. Fair enough.
but
All right.
the only reason I say that is to say she loves this kind of thing. Like she's into the superhero stuff.
Nice.
Spider-Man's her very favorite, and she I mean, there's several times during the movie where she was like, I could see out of the corner of my eye, she's looking at me like, and she's just so happy. And we'll get to this in a minute, but that time whenever what's the name of the character that Jamie Foxx played?
Electro.
Electro. When he was like, I thought you'd be black, and
Oh, yeah.
then and then Peter's like, sorry, or something like that, and he goes, no, it's fine. And then he goes, maybe there's a black Spider-Man out there somewhere. And my daughter didn't get it, and I was like, oh, they're planting a seed, like that's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
And so I looked over at Aubrey. That's her name. I looked over at Aubrey. And I kind of nudged her. I go, Miles Morales. She goes, oh, and she's like, it like clicked for her that that's their way, and it's a brilliant way to
Mhm.
for the future because with the multiverse you can have black, white. It doesn't matter then because it's just from a different universe. And I think when Miles Morales hits, I think it's I mean we're getting ahead of ourselves, but whenever Miles Morales comes around, I'm glad they did it this way because it'll make sense now.
What do you mean?
And instead of just saying, because I mean, because when Peter Parker was created, he was a white kid. And
Yeah.
look, I don't have a problem with a black Spider-Man. I don't. But what gets a little annoying is when they just take something that's always been away, instead of making a new thing, they'll just completely just change it for like for just to change it. So I think it'd be really cool to have a black Spider-Man, but I'm just saying I think it's smart the way they're doing it, not just throwing everybody for a loop saying, oh, Spider-Man's black now. They're saying, oh, there's the multiverse, so of course there's a black Spider-Man out there somewhere. So and here he is, and he's really cool.
Well, yeah, we're getting
Or am I
ahead of
looking at that
ourselves.
wrong?
No. Well, you're kind of looking at it wrong because this is what it is, and this is why I Spider-Man it's actually, here's the thing.
Okay.
The movie No Way Home actually did it perfectly, and that's I'm glad that you brought this up too. So Miles Morales is his own character. He's not Peter Parker. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. We all know that, right?
Okay. Yeah. I'm with you.
Okay. Spider-Man is a mantle. Spider-Man is the superhero. Miles Morales does take up the mantle as Peter Parker, not as Peter Parker, as Spider-Man one time after Peter Parker actually dies. Now there are multi universes like that, depending on what. Like I guess the MCU is based out of 616 universe, and so yeah, no, I completely understand what you're saying, and we're going with that. And yes, they're doing it properly. Yes, it's like, oh great, we're gonna integrate everything in there, and Miles Morales is gonna show up. I mean,
Yeah.
and you still don't, you'll have fucking trolls and who don't know the shit anything about fucking comic books, like, oh here we go again.
I think if they would have done it the way that I was saying originally, where they just all of a sudden they start promoting the next Spider-Man and he's black, I think you'd get a lot of that. But that's why I think it's really smart with the multiverse. And look, I get that he's Miles Morales, he's not Peter Parker,
Mhm.
so it wouldn't be the same thing except just a black kid. But you can introduce them, like, and I'm sure one time within this phase, you're probably gonna see Miles Morales team up with Peter Parker, and they're gonna do some, that'd be really cool as shit. But the smart thing about this multiverse is that there's literally endless possibilities as
Mhm.
far as movies and who you can bring back.
Right.
I was just telling Katrina last night how like, whenever Iron Man died, and I was like, well, that fucking sucks because now they're gonna have to. You're not gonna see Iron Man for about 10, 15 years, and they're gonna have to just to reset with somebody else, uh, because they can bring in his daughter and all that'll be cool, but it's not Tony Stark and it's not Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
So, and obviously he can't play Iron Man forever. But now with the Spider Verse or no, with the multiverse, you can just drop in Iron Man from Earth 667, and it's still Tony Stark. And as long as you have, as long as this is a big if you have the right casting and the right directing, all that, it can be amazing. But it's not replacing. You're not. It's so, but you're not trying to sell this thing where we're trying to replace Robert Downey Jr. This is just a different. This is Iron Man from a different Earth,
Yeah.
and then everything can start making sense again. This multiverse just opens everything right back up to bring whoever you want back and whenever. It's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Of course, when people
Yeah.
die, it doesn't mean as much now.
Well, it does and it doesn't because they're not the same person. It's a different type, but like there's different things about them. So, and that's what I'm learning too about. It's like, just because the multiverse is it's like their way of retconning shit. Yes and no, because for instance, we're gonna go into it
Oh
about.
shit, I'm not recording. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, hey,
I
you
know.
made me actually look at. I was like, wait, why are you talking?
I think about doing that every episode, but then I don't. Then I was like, I finally did it. It's kind of cute.
So,
All right.
but no, and we'll get into it about the reviews. Like even in the movie, Spider-Man: No Way Home, we see that there's 3 different Peter Parkers,
Yes.
3 different Spider-Mans,
Yep.
and all 3 are different in their own personalities,
Yep.
in their own certain ways they do things, their own swag, their own even shit, their own webbing.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's just completely different.
Yeah, that was really cool when they were talking about Tobey Maguire's. There's that's just coming out of you, or they say shit, but that's coming out of your wrist, and they were blown away that he's able to do that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
He was like, "Well, he's like, don't you get like a web block or something like that?" But actually, yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. He fell on his ass in that movie, didn't he?
Yeah, that was number 2, right?
I can't remember.
I think yeah, that was number 2 when he was like didn't want to be Spider-Man anymore because he was literally trying to be Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And he got tired. He's like, I just want to be fucking Peter Parker. I want my own life. I just want to be. I'm tired of all those fucking responsibility. And he started having a mental block, and he couldn't be. His powers wasn't manifesting like it needed to.
Couldn't get it up.
Yeah. So, but no, yeah. Overall, we'll dive right into this now. Is like the Spider-Man: No Way Home, our review. So, let's do the rating 1 through 10. 10 being the best movie out there, the best you can get, to 1 being the most horrible. Like, don't recommend this shit. I'd rather watch a straight to DVD movie compared to this one.
Out of 10, okay, I'm trying to think if there's any movie that would give it like. I'm gonna keep this within the MCU. I'm not gonna compare it to like my favorite great movies, but just like MCU. I would give it I'd give it a 9. I'm not gonna go 9.5 or 10. It was really good, and one thing that I really liked about it was a lot of the nostalgia factor that they gave you with bringing back Andrew Garfield, of course, Tobey Maguire, and those guys coming back. I didn't. I'll be honest. I didn't really feel there was a few initial moments with when the bad guys first appeared that I got that kind of cool feeling, but
Yeah.
it didn't hit. I actually thought when the other 2 Peters showed up, that was more of a nostalgia. I didn't get as excited for like Doc Ock.
Well, because we already knew he was there. We saw him so much already. The trailers and shit.
Yeah, I guess you kind of expected it, but I was kind of hoping that like Doc Ock and the Green Goblin when they showed up, that it'd be a little more epic. And I do feel like Doc Ock was a little. I don't know. I feel like one thing they, in my eyes, and it's easy to critique it with somebody that doesn't make films or some idiot who's never made anything in his life. That I feel like the bad guys could have been a little more epic. I feel like it was a little cheesy from the villain perspective on things, but overall, it's still a really good movie. I'll give it a 9.
Okay, all right. We're gonna touch on that because I actually have a question about that one. But for me, I give it a 9.5.
Okay.
Even maybe even like a 9.7. It was a really good movie. Um, I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to go see it again. Um, like by myself and no one's there because I don't fucking want to get sick again, anything like that. Risk of that. Because it was very uncomfortable being sitting by people so close, even a week or a week after a premiere. I was like, God damn. So, um, yeah, really good movie. Like I like how from the gate they started off action packed. It was like it just picked up where the last movies left off.
Oh yeah, when Mysterio called out Peter Parker and said it's that Spider-Man. Oh, oh my god, I'm completely okay. We'll get into it. My mind starts racing. I'm going right to Doctor Strange. It's like it just
Yeah, we can tell one too.
there was a lot in this movie.
There's a lot. There's a lot, and they did it well. They didn't like and that's something about the whole Doctor Strange thing too, is it's really captivating. That I'm really impressed with what they did with that on this movie. But yeah, just like from the gate, they started off. It was like just a picked up, literally picking up from where the last movie started.
Yeah, and
And
him and MJ were like swinging and shit, like
yeah,
right off the bat.
swinging and all that stuff like that. Like not really swinging, but they were swinging from the
Heyo.
swinging from the webs and all that shit like that, and uh and he was like he saw it and like, oh shit, he was on a street lamp.
Mhm.
And he had to it was just crazy too, like he had to jump down and get MJ because everybody's like, wait, you killed Mysterio? And then that fast, everybody turned on his ass.
Yeah.
And it got real. And like you even saw that lady say, oh, Spider-Man hit me. Did you see that part?
I don't remember that part. No.
Oh, bro, when he went to go get Mary Jane and like she was all up in her face, all up in his
Uh-huh.
face, like did you kill Mysterio? Did you kill Mysterio? And he kind of like pushed her out the way, like excuse
Just
me,
making room. Yeah.
yeah, like excuse me, and getting MJ out because they're like, are you Spider-Man's girlfriend? Did you know about this and this and some lady right there like was all up in his face, like oh, as he pushed to make his way, like
Yeah.
excuse me, I'm trying to get her, and he wasn't aggressive. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey,
Spider-Man hit me.
Spider hit me. I was like, are you fucking serious?
Yeah,
Damn.
people turn on you quick.
Oh, man, like fast. I'm like, but and so yeah, it's just like it started off action packed, like, okay, cool, they're swinging again through the New York, going everywhere and like freaking out and it's like you see even from there, you see the beginning of his development. Like he when they get up on the bridge and they start swinging and he calls Ned and Ned was like, dude. He was like, dude, dude, dude.
Yeah. One thing that they've gotten 100% right with this version of Spider-Man with Tom Holland is capturing the high school, because Peter Parker's he's just like in the comics he's a kid, man. He's like 15, 16 years old. And they've gotten that because Tobey Maguire, bless his heart, was like fucking 30 years old when he shot the first Spider-Man. And look, they were good, but Tom Holland looks like a high school kid. He acts like a high school kid, and they've done a good job incorporating kind of modernizing it, but not too much, with the cell phones and stuff like that, stuff they didn't have, obviously back when Spider-Man was initially born.
Yeah.
But yeah, he feels like a teenager, and the conversations he has with his friends, he's Spider-Man, but he's also just a teenage kid, which, like I said, they got that exactly right, I think.
I agree. And I mean it really captured everything on that one. Just and from like when he started and even this one is like the last one, well, Far From Home was he had to basically learn how to come out of the shadow of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
and this one is like, and like kind of like be his own self and learn who he had to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was
And
huge for him.
this one is like, okay, cool. Now it's a development. Now it's gone from like, okay, now yes, you don't have Tony there to catch you all the time to help you like that. You have to think of yourself on the fly and learn how to do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now this one's like more like, okay, let's develop you into from a kid to the responsible adult.
He didn't figure that shit out until like the last fucking scene.
Exactly. Exactly. Like for real.
Whenever I know we're skipping ahead, you know, we'll save that, but just remind me later when he's walking, when he's at the end, when he has to, where everybody forgets who he is,
Yeah.
you just get a sense of that he grew up right then because
Instantly.
he finally gets it. And then we'll talk about that scene in the little cafe where she works here in a minute.
Yeah.
But that's actually a pretty great moment for his character as far as development and his as far as his maturity goes about being a superhero. Because one thing about this super or this Spider-Man is he is having as always the first three movies he's had a really tough time letting go of being a kid, being a Peter Parker, having a girlfriend, and wanting to be doing all that, and not 100% committing to being Spider-Man, to being an Avenger. Uh, he he grew up. It took him 3 movies, but he grew up.
Yeah. I mean, they even forced it. Like they pushed that agenda. I wouldn't say agenda. That picture even in the last one, the Far From Home, because even Nick Fury is like, or the person, the what's it called, the alien that played Nick Fury. It was like, hey, are you going to be Peter Parker or are you going to be
Whoa.
Spider-Man?
What do you mean the alien that played Nick Fury? What does that mean?
You did watch that movie, right? And stay to the end of the credits, right? The end credit scenes. The scroll.
No.
Yeah, bro.
That wasn't no. Okay,
That
hold
wasn't
on.
Nick
Hold on
Fury.
a second. Are you telling me okay,
So
so
Far From Home.
it's Far From Home, and then what's the second one? No Way Home.
No. You have the first one is actually Spider-Man Homecoming.
Homecoming,
The second one is Far From Home,
Far From Home, and then No
and
Way
this one
Home.
is No Way Home.
Okay, so Far From Home, you're telling me that was not Nick Fury.
That was not Nick Fury. That was a scroll who was taking the place of Nick Fury. Nick Fury was in space, creating I think Sword.
What in the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so why was the scroll helping? Like, why was the scroll playing the part of Nick Fury?
Because we'll find that out, and I'm not going to all the deep theories and everything like that, but
Do you
we'll find
know, or
out.
you don't want to tell me, or you don't, or we don't know yet?
It depends on how they go with it. I mean, there's it's out in the comics and everything like that, but it depends on what story to go with. It could be, I think we'll find out more in the next Guardian of the Galaxies and Thor, Love and
Love
Thunder.
and Thunder. When does that
Yeah,
come out?
I think next year.
That should be good.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like yeah, Nick Fury is he's focusing on more of the sub worldly shit. Universal.
Is it possible that Nick Fury is working with them, and he's like, "Hey, can you fill in for me while
Yeah,
I'm gone?"
exactly. Yes, that's what it is.
Because I'm going to be honest, I don't know enough about the comics as far as they're called the scrolls, right?
Yeah,
I don't know enough about the scrolls because aren't they ultimately bad, but sometimes good? Is that like their
there
thing?
are. Yeah, because them trying to do an invasion, stuff like that. And they're actually going to have a it was called a TV series on Disney Plus called Secret Invasions. That's going to
Okay.
explain that more.
All right, cool.
But yeah, so yeah, it's just like so like I was saying, like in Far From Home, they were even pushing that whole not I want to say narrative. I hate that word narrative, or that picture of that Peter had to he had to either be Spider-Man or be Peter Parker because he's like, I just
Yeah.
want to go on vacation. I just want to live my
Yeah.
life as a kid and this and this. He's like, well, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be Spider-Man or are you gonna be fucking like fine?
Bitch,
Be
please,
Peter
you went
Parker.
to space.
Right? So and it's actually trickling over here, and this is just that character development to see everything like that. Like now, awesome. He's growing up, and he has to figure out. Even then, he struggled then. He's like, I just want to go, go to school. Where you always want to get into MIT and this and this. We have the backup
Mhm.
school. Like he was trying to do kid shit,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but until that May scene happened, I almost I had chills when she said that shit. I got chills in my bodies like when she
What?
said the
Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to remember the timeline so we can not jump too far ahead. So okay,
okay.
so at the beginning they're swinging. He just found out that Mysterio said Spider-Man is Peter Parker or Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and then he went to Doctor Strange.
Yeah. So he was like, okay, because well, what happened was people start having real life situations. Like so, people they all got rejected from the schools because
Oh
of
yeah, like
their
MJ and Ned, they were all trying to
yeah.
get in MIT, and and everybody in his little circle started having real life problems because no one would associate with Spider-Man because they thought because
He was a killer.
the narrative was out there that he killed Mysterio, and everyone was buying it.
Yeah, he killed Mysterio. The drones that attacked the cities was under his control
Yeah.
because Stark Industry and all stuff like that because they were built by Stark Industry. He was controlling shit. So like he was like, oh, what the hell? So um, here's another thing. He had to lawyer up and get a lawyer because they all got arrested. And guess who the lawyer was? You know who
Wait,
the
wait,
lawyer was, right?
oh, hold on, hold on. I'm trying to remember here. I can't remember that part. Like, who
You
was
can't
the?
remember that part. So when they all got pulled in, like after they go into the house to get away from uh the crowds and the cameras and all the helicopters and shit like that. Remember that part,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, I'm blanking on who played that part.
So Mac Murdock.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
So that is Daredevil.
Oh yeah. I remember that because no one else in my I was there with my two girls and my wife. Uh, they just thought it was a guy, but I could tell right when he was blind and he was kind of wearing red. I was like, oh, that's Daredevil.
Yeah.
And after that, he never came back. But I was like,
No,
okay,
well,
well
you saw
now,
him catch that fucking brick, right? He's like when that brick came through the window and
oh yeah, oh my
he
gosh, thank
caught
you
it
for
like
saying
that,
that. Yeah,
and he was finally
yeah,
like, "How'd you do that?" He's like, "I'm a
yeah,
very good lawyer."
dude. Now is that the same guy who played it in the series?
Yes, yes.
Because I heard that series was terrible.
Actually, no, it was pretty good. I wouldn't say it was the
Yeah,
best.
but you like
It was
Star
good though.
Wars, so I can't really. I'm just
Shut
kidding.
the fuck up.
You're making TikToks about Boba Fett, so how do I can take your word for anything?
You don't like Boba Fett? Boba Fett's cool.
I don't even know who that is, dude.
Oh, yeah, you'll like him. He's a bounty hunter.
Is that just is that the Mandalorian? Is that just who that is?
No, 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 no,
All right,
no.
we'll
We're
talk
not
about
getting
that some other time.
this, yeah, this is Spider-Man.
All the Star
So
Wars people are like, okay, I hate this. I hate Adam now. This guy's a piece of shit.
like, oh, like DePaul, Ryan, save it. Save him.
Mhm.
But so yeah, so Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil,
Mhm.
that scene was just great. I mean, he caught the brick like bah,
Yeah,
because it's coming straight at Spider-Man, and just like, oh shit, okay. He's like,
yeah.
it's like
Someone threw a brick through. If you don't care about spoilers, if you've already seen it, you already know. But someone, because people are basically rioting, and everywhere they go, they're getting hate thrown at them. And in this case, the hate was a brick. So a
yeah,
guy threw a brick, or somebody threw a brick through the window. It was going right at Spider-Man, and his lawyer, which they didn't say it, but if you know, you know, was Daredevil, and he caught the brick. Wasn't even looking that way. He was blind as a fucking bat,
hmm
and that was a really cool moment.
it really was. Um, Here's a little secret for you. If you guys are into the Disney Plus scene in the series, Hawkeye just got done with the season finale, and they premiered the Kingpin in Hawkeye from Daredevil. So
Mm.
now Daredevil is officially in the
Did
with
somebody
Kingpin.
else own the rights to that for a while, or is that like one of those that they're like Spider-Man, where they're trying to like get the rights to have him in movies and stuff like that? Or
No, they was just trying to figure out how to, because Netflix had decided like, hey, we want to use these characters to make Netflix shows. And they, all right,
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead. But then they decide, oh, this is like, okay, well, we're gonna really push this Marvel thing, and you got to stop using these.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah. Is the Daredevil interesting to you? Is that an interesting character to you?
not to me really. No,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean
like one
he's
of
all right. It's
it's
a
like
superhero, but
yeah, it's like one of those I kind of want to be excited for, and maybe we just need the right vision. I know it's kind of ironic because he's blind, but maybe we need the right just direction for that character and
yeah.
to make it interesting because he's blind. Like, do you know what his superpowers are besides being blind and kind of still being able to see shit?
So he has super human ability to regenerate. Like he has a healing factor. He has a sonar type situation that gives him super abilities, as like he can detect things. How he got that brick.
Hmm.
Um, he around that. So what else?
Does he
I,
have any like extra strength or anything?
I mean, this like the same strength like Batman.
I was gonna say maybe like Batman, somebody a little bit extra, but nothing like crazy.
Yeah, and nothing like super crazy. But besides that, yeah, those are the two main things. He's acrobatic. Apparently, like so. I'm
Mm,
like, but
because to me, it, if you're superhero means you got something more than extra or more than regular. So if you're blind but you have sonar to see, then you're basically just a regular guy who can maybe heal a little faster. Like there's nothing. Okay, you're blind but you can still fight. That's not good
it
enough for
his
me.
sonar kind of like they try. I think I read somewhere that said that his sonar like is compared to Spider-Man's Spidey sense
Yeah, but
almost.
Spider-Man can fly with his webbing and he's got superhuman strength, like
Well, see,
spider strength.
honestly, Spider-Man technically all he has the ability to do is to crawl. His super heroes stuff is he's super strong, his superhuman strength,
Mhm.
and he can climb on stick on climb on shit like a spider. Uh, he's his agility, super agility, and he can jump like high and shit like that. Because you gotta think his webbing is from his
Yeah, but that's my point. He still has superhuman strength. He can do things that humans can't do.
yeah.
If if Daredevil doesn't have superhuman strength, then he's just a blind guy that can still see.
It's just that sonar. That's that's his main super ability. His sonar that he can like, detect shit.
But that's not better than
I mean,
regular
I'm not.
sight.
I'm not saying he's the best superhero out there. He ain't my favorite superhero at all.
I'm saying
Um,
they got to try to make this guy interesting because that alone, like, it was a cool moment
did
in the
you
movie,
watch the
but
old Netflix series?
no.
Okay, so yeah, I mean,
I know who he is. Like, it's just not. Doesn't just pull me in. It's like
yeah, no, I get you.
he doesn't do anything. He's not even doesn't even have a bow and arrow. Like he doesn't do anything except just be blind and kind of kick ass a little bit. Like I don't know. Like I need more. Sorry.
No, I can't even fucking say. I'm not trying to defend him, but no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I 100% on
I
that
mean, I
because
get you're a nice guy, so I get why you want to defend him, but
it's no.
it's boring.
I agree. Like I had like the third season. I said I don't even think I finished the third season. I still have to fucking of Netflix show of Daredevil. I'm like I had to struggle through it. So no, I understand. I understand. Um, but speaking of other superheroes who was in Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange.
Oh, Doctor Strange. Yeah. Now he's an interesting character with a lot of abilities.
Yes. Now I love his parts in Spider-Man No Way Home, and this is why because it didn't overshadow Spider-Man at all.
But at the same time, really showed what he's capable of.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like, and not
that's a
even
good point.
a whole completeness of it, of what he's capable of. Just like it show what he can do. Like oh shit, okay. Like it shows some of his development.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, this is like, damn, this is nice. And just like the whole fighting between Spider-Man and well actually let's start with this, like when he went to the Doctor Strange's castle and they was talking, and then Wong came in.
Mhm.
It was a nice little Easter egg that I thought was Easter egg. When the Wong was like, "Well, he's not the social." Told Peter, he's like, "He's not the sorcerer supreme, or I'm the sorcerer supreme because
Yeah,
by
one got
technicality."
yeah. So what did Doctor Strange do something that he wasn't supposed to do? So on a technicality, Wong gets it for a while or forever. Like what's going on there?
No, he blipped. So technically, he didn't exist for 5 years. So there had to be a sorcerer supreme. This is like,
And he didn't just get it when he came back.
yeah, no, because
Okay,
the
gotcha.
sorcerer, it does, like, it's like, okay, well, let's say that the president of the United States went down,
Mhm,
and for some reason, and the vice president took it up, and it was like the beginning of the presidency term.
mhm.
Eh, The vice president is now the president,
Yeah, but the
and
president comes back. They're not the president again?
well, let's say the president passed away.
Okay.
They ain't coming back from the dead. We ain't have a fucking zombie president. So,
You do if Thanos snaps you away and then you come back?
no, it's 5 years later. But anyway, but no,
Yeah,
oh
no,
shit,
I
okay,
get what you're saying though. So Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme because Doctor Strange got blipped and then he came back. I guess you can only have one at a time, and you can just transfer it just because
yeah,
you want to. So he's still the guy. Gotcha.
exactly.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that's a cool little Easter egg. That was nice. Um,
I mean, will that play? I mean, will that are they going to use that in for a future movie
I
or
think it's going to transfer with the Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, all that shit.
that's going to be fun, man? Just Multiverse of Madness just sounds like such an epic, so many things happening at once type of movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really
it,
cool.
it's yeah. I'm like, holy shit, and Wanda's going to be in that one too, so it's going to be great. But
Doctor. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Doctor Strange has done he for some reason his character doesn't get brought up when people are talking about the best superheroes or their favorite ones. But what he's contributed is and I always fuck up his name. Benedict Cumberbatch. Is that how you say
Yeah, coming back.
Cumberbatch? What he has contributed to the MCU with his personality, how because of how serious you take him in that role, he looks just looks the part. He looks so well like a well-oiled superhero. He just looks so good. And
He
his
did what Robert Downey Jr. did for Iron Man. Yeah, for
I'm glad
Doctor
you said
Strange.
that 'cause that's where I'm going with this. And he has a great sense of humor. Like he's serious, but then he has a very like sarcastic, just sense of humor. He's got that nice deep voice. Like you just take him serious and not serious when he's trying to be funny at the same time. He has done an amazing job at Doctor Strange and what they've done with his character and allowing him to play these huge roles
Mhm.
like he hasn't taken a backseat to anybody as far as his contributions to the MCU over the last like what 5 years or so. It's been I'm really excited to to see that character keep what they're going to do because he's one of those characters because of the spells and with the
Yes.
multiverse and all the shit he can get into. It's just man, if you have some really creative people and the right visual effects and just everything you need for a good superhero movie, um, it's going to be fun to watch for years to come for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, that it's like I wanna say that's when the multiverse crack was the past movie and everything, but
That's the
honestly,
start of his thing, huh?
yeah, it's just like he has to go in there and figure out how to fix this shit. Like, "Something's going on, I don't know what
Oh,
to do."
I wanna ask you something, and
Yeah.
I may be crazy, but I'm not sure. So, whenever he was doing that spell, and
Uh-huh.
this kinda goes off, this is kind of the timeline we're kind of, doesn't shut up, Adam, talk.
Just say
So,
it.
yeah, exactly. When he was doing the spell and Peter kept, so for those of you who haven't seen it yet and you wanna know, Peter is his goal is when he goes there to make people forget that he's Spider-Man.
Yes.
And Doctor Strange is doing this spell, and it's like this epic looking spell thing. And Peter keeps wanting to add people to the list of people that didn't forget.
Yeah.
So because he wants Aunt May, he wants Happy, he wants his girlfriend, he wants Ned. He keeps wanting to add these people to the spell as Doctor Strange is doing it. So it's kind of fucking up his spell. And and please tell me if I'm fucking any part of this up because I'm just
Hey,
trying to go off
go ahead.
memory. I've only seen it once, but so when the spell starts messing up, the sky starts cracking, like the multiverse starts kind of getting in, right? I
Mhm.
could have swore, and it happened quick, so maybe I just saw something else. I could have swore in one part of that sky opened and it was purple behind it that I saw Galactus.
So I thought so too. Maybe that was something, but I don't think it was Galactus. I only saw it once. So I have to go and see it again to double check. And I haven't heard any theories around that one, but this is a great way to bring other like people into the shit, like X-Men. Uh, what else?
Oh,
Did you just
dude, it just made me think of something. I don't want to interrupt you, but I saw something so cool.
So I mean, it's like this. It's many. The possibilities are endless, like you said. So I don't know about Galactus. I thought so too because I saw silhouettes. But are you talking about like towards the end or the beginning of the spell?
I can't remember. I just remember when the sky was opening up. It was like those tattoos where people get a tattoo of like the skin's ripped and underneath it's like a robot or something. I forget
Yeah.
what they call that. In part of the ripped sky behind it, it was like Galactus. It looked like he had the thing and he was holding the whatever you call
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. I know you're talking
I
about.
could have swore I saw Galactus literally. It was kind of like a faded. And it happened quick. Obviously, it was almost to me. If it was, I don't know if it was or not. It was just some Easter egg where they're like, "This is how Galactus makes his way, into our universe," and it happened quick. And if I see it again, I'll be looking for it for sure. But it looked like Galactus to me.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Um, but I gotta check that out. I'm not sure. It could have been the Watcher
If
again, or something like that.
Yeah, if you go see it again, watch like when the sky's ripping. Really pay attention to what's because I know there's a lot, and I'm sure this is by design. There's a lot of distraction with like the spell going on and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and all the dialogue. But it just focus on the rips in the sky because I think there's some Easter eggs in there. I think there is, and that'd be crazy for there not to be, right?
yeah. No, for real. It will be crazy, but yeah, okay, that's something to look out for. I'm going to look out for that one too. But it's I know I saw in that silhouette part, I saw the not the lizard, but scorpion, for sure.
Oh, so
Somebody
you
said,
did see people.
yeah, oh yeah, I saw people scorpion because I saw the scorpion suit and the tail. I saw the silhouette of that. I saw Rhino,
Re-
Another Spider-Man villain, Rhino.
That's
Who
cool,
else?
man.
So yeah, I mean that was trying to come through. So I'm pretty sure. Oh, Craven. They said the Craven, the Hunter, it's another Spider-Man's villain. So we yeah, I mean a lot of shit's gonna happen. So it's crazy, and I'm telling
Right.
you, man, it's gonna be great. So they already agreed that they're gonna be another 3 Spider-Man movies from
Oh yeah,
Marvel.
and Tom Holland's still so young. He could play Spider-Man for at least three more movies.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly.
all right, so Doctor Strange does a spell. It doesn't go perfect because Peter's kind of talking too much
He's
during the
fucking with it.
spell,
Yeah,
and then soon after, who shows up first? Is it Doc Ock?
Doc Ock.
Yeah, so we start seeing the bad guys show up because they slip through during the spell. Now earlier when I said I didn't love the kind of I thought the bad guys were a little cheesy in this movie. I didn't feel like it wasn't epic enough. Maybe that's just me expecting too much.
Mhm.
But what did you think of the way the bad guys were portrayed in this movie?
So it was classic Spider-Man bad guy. Like it's like they came from the old classic Spider-Man. The Ramsey one. Granted, Sam Ramsey had a play in this one too. But I will say the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and
Mhm.
then um, we'll talk about Doc Ock and the Green Goblin. So Doc Ock, he is like he picked up from where he left off. He didn't realize that he was dead. And
I
so I
like how
like
they did
that.
that.
Yeah. It was like, oh, then I was like, because I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, y'all are fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like Doc Ock died, the Green Goblin died, like Electro died. Who else? The Lizard died. I'm like, how are y'all fucking still alive? Sandman, did Sandman die? Sandman died too.
So how do they do that? So in the story, did they bring him back? Did they come back right? They came back right before they died on their Earth, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
They got pulled out of their universe right before they died.
Now, how does that make sense as far as plot wise goes? Because why would they get pulled from that exact moment? Any explanation for that?
It could have just been that moment in time that lined up with
Well, that's fucking convenient.
yeah,
I mean,
convenient.
come on, it's a superhero movie, so I understand. I mean, there's got to be some suspension of disbelief. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
So
make the
like,
shit
okay,
work. You,
at
you
this
got to suspend
time, this
disbelief.
moment, this is what's happening, and boom, like, oh
Yeah,
shit, okay. And so like let's just rip them out. Like, oh shit, for everybody. Okay. But even that, I don't know. Cause you have multiple what was it, multiple villains from that different universes.
yeah.
So it's like, but I'm not tripping about this shit.
No,
Whatever.
no, no. Yeah, that's just a small detail. I'm like how the fact that all lined up, they all got pulled right at the moment before death is like that's convenient, but
Yeah,
okay, it's we're having fun.
exactly. So, um, but yeah, so fucking just like seeing that and like, okay, cool. And this the whole spell thing that was cool. And then like it was like, oh shit, what happened? That you messed up the spell too much. Now I have to contain it and not make it like it's some people got through. So we got to figure out what's going on. And when he said, "You got Scooby Doo this shit," I was like, "What? Like, you have
Oh
to
yeah,
Scooby
and
Doo this
then
shit and
MJ's
figure
like
this out."
something about language, and he's like, okay, we're gonna Scooby Doo. Yeah, I forgot the line. I need to go watch it again because I forgot too many of the little details.
No, yeah, it's cool. I mean, but it was good because like he's like, well, he gave Peter something. He did something to his web shooter. It's like, okay, cool, here we go. And made it magic and threw it back at his ass. Okay, shoot him with this, and then they'll get teleported over here, so I
Mhm.
can send them back to their universe and go round them up. And he's like, oh, that's when Peter's like, well, I need help. You
Yeah,
know?
and that's basically the plot of the movie where Spider-Man. It's a big plot of the movie where Spider-Man has to, because of his talking too much during the spell, allowed all these bad guys to come through. Now he has to go back and pretty much round them up.
Hmm.
But Doctor Strange wants them just to he wants to fix things because he's an adult. He wants to just send them straight back to where they're from, even though he knows their fate when they go back is their peer is about to kill them right then in each instance. But
Yep.
uh, Tom Holland Spider-Man 1 is he has a big heart and he knows when they go back, he knows at the heart they're not bad people. They just had
Well,
bad things happen to them.
he at first he was on board. He's like, I don't give a fuck. But then Aunt May was like, no, you need to help these people.
Mm,
And he's like, "All right, okay, yeah, that's right. That's not me. I got to help him. If
yeah,
we can help him, that's great." Because Aunt May was like, "No, this and this. He needs help."
yeah.
And like the Green Goblin, he needs help. Norman Osborn needs
Man,
help.
what a
He's not
bad
all there,
guy. Like
huh?
the Green Goblin side of it, he's a piece of shit.
Man, bro. I like, and I
It's
like,
crazy how strong he is too. Like they do a good job showing you like he's a for whatever reason that motherfucker's powerful when he's the Green Goblin.
yeah, bro. Like, I know that they like Willem Dafoe. He's a great actor as Green Goblin, even in the first like the original one with Tobey Maguire. And I was like, oh, damn, man, like he did the same thing, played that role well. I'm like,
He's ugly as a mug though, isn't
up,
he?
bro. Hey, it worked for that scene. I'm like, God
Yeah,
dang, bro, you
yeah,
are
he's a
good
good
at
Green
this.
Goblin.
But
Yeah, yeah. So Spider-Man, so then he has this really epic, I won't call it a fight, but kind of like with Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange
keep
is
away.
like, yeah, Doctor Strange is like, no, we're sending him back, but he needs this little box that Peter's carrying that
Yeah,
has all the guys in it, or no,
it
or
has a spell in it, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
when
it
you
has the
hit the
spell in it.
button,
Yeah,
it's gonna
send
activate
them
and
back home.
send
Yeah,
it all back. Yeah,
and Peter is has it, and there's this really cool back and forth with Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is using his little time, or what do you call that little,
teleports and
teleport
portals.
things, and it's a really cool scene. We're not going to be able to do it justice by explaining it to you, but Peter Parker and Doctor Strange have a great fight over that. Peter gets away, and then he is
Huh, you're not gonna
trying to.
you're not gonna fucking just run by that scene right there. That
Okay.
fucking perfect little tussle. I know we're getting real close to an hour, but that one scene, like when he got knocked, when Doctor Strange knocked his spirit out, he
Oh
had a
yeah, just like the Sorcerer Supreme in Endgame
did
knocked
to the
out,
Hulk,
knocked
Bruce Banner.
Banner out from the Hulk. He did the same thing to Peter Parker.
So that fucking right there
Yeah.
was so awesome on multiple levels. Like Peter's like, "Oh my god, this feels awesome. What did you do?" He's like, "He's like, am I dead?" Yeah, no, you're not dead. You're just having an outer body experience.
Yeah.
Um, you're on astral plane, and but you see he's like not like his body's knocked out, but he's still his spider senses is actually making so that Doctor Strange can't get the box.
Yeah, that isn't that crazy? Because whenever the Sorcerer Supreme in Endgame knocked Bruce Banner into the what's it called?
Astral plane.
Astral plane, the Hulk was just rendered useless.
Yeah.
So, but Peter Parker somehow was able to keep his spidey senses as just the human Peter Parker and not
Yes.
Spider-Man. How does that
Yes.
work?
So that's his power. His spider sense is so fucking powerful, and this is what I don't think a lot of people understand. What I loved it that how they really utilized his spider sense in this whole movie so much and so how fucking powerful it was. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, and even Norman Osborn was like, that spider sense of yours is a pretty nifty trick. And he knew it, like he like, oh, because like how powerful it was. Like
Yeah,
his soul got knocked out and he
yeah.
was still his body was still just reacting.
Yeah. Well, because and for those of you who haven't seen it yet, so when Doctor Strange knocked Peter Parker out of Spider-Man back into the astral plane, he did that so he could just he thought he was just going to snatch that little box out of his hand because now Peter Parker didn't have his little
He
tricks
couldn't
to get
control himself,
away.
yeah.
But Peter was still just like he couldn't take it, even though he hadn't knocked him out of his body.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
It was a pretty awesome
I
scene. And
forgot
like
about that. That was cool.
even like the whole like teleport and like Peter tried to swing and then Doctor Strange put caught the web in the teleport and caught and then opened another one and caught his legs, like he had him like locked up.
Oh yeah, that was cool. So how's that work? Okay, so Peter Parker is flying. He goes to web.
Doctor
Doctor
Strange.
Strange creates a portal for the web to go through, and he creates another portal behind Peter, so the portal opens up and his own web catches his own foot. He's just
Yeah.
swinging like this, dude. The people who made this movie are so they I don't know if I would have even thought of that if I were trying to. I mean, that's just such a cool little thing to do with that with two of their like powers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really
I was
cool.
like, this is awesome. Like this little fight. It was comical, but it was like it's almost like siblings fighting, right? Like an
Yeah,
uncle and a
because
nephew
they weren't
fighting.
trying to kill each other, but they were using their strengths to try to do what they were trying to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was kind of like in Civil War when they were fighting, but not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't trying to kill each other, like, and they were trying to hurt each other. Oh, my bad, I didn't mean to do
Be a
that.
lot of bloodshed if they were really fighting on Civil War.
Right. But so yeah, so that happened, and then we went to the whole like that fight kept on going on for a long time, and then Doctor Strange got teleported to accidentally got teleported to another dimension without his little
Oh,
rings. That
didn't Peter take his thing off of his hand, or
yeah,
somehow Ned got Doctor Strange's little thing he puts on his hand to do this to do the portal, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then Ned somehow is able
So
to make portals. I don't
Peter,
know.
because Peter is one line. Peter said, because he was like in the mirror dimension. They're in the mirror dimension. Doctor
Okay.
Strange brought him to the mirror dimension for the fight, and he was like, Peter's like, "What is this?" He's like, "Oh, this is the mirror dimension." As they're fighting, he's like, "It's outside of reality," and it just shit's like it's like a kaleidoscope. So everything's going crazy.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Doctor Strange, you know
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
talking
all
about.
the buildings are like doing this shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like crazy. So and Peter's like Spider-Man's trying to catch on to shit and fly and like use his web and jump around and stuff like that, and he finally caught on and said, "Oh, you know what? That's like a hectogram, and this is like this." He's like, "Oh, this is geometry. You're good at geometry. Let's do this."
Yeah, that was really cool.
He's like, "You know what? Doctor Strange is better than magic. And it's cooler than magic." He's like, "What? Math."
You know what's really cool about that is, like you said, with the spider senses and with his ability to do like it shows one thing that was getting lost, I think, in the first two is how part of his superpowers is he's not on Tony Stark's level, but he's really smart. Like almost like superhuman
Intelligent.
smart.
Yeah.
Like I said, no, not Tony Stark level, but maybe like 80% of that, maybe 90% of that, like really smart kid. And his spider senses. So his ability to figure Doctor Strange's magic out and then turn it back on him and to be able to get out of that just using math,
Yeah.
I thought was such a brilliant way for him to win that fight. Like he didn't just like cling on to something and swing his way out of it. I mean, he literally used his powers to get out of there, which was just being smart and being
Mhm.
and outsmarting Strange in the situation. Because, dude, that's a tall task for Peter
Yeah.
Parker to figure out Doctor Strange's magic when he's
You're
using it
right.
and
It's
get
not a
out of
small
it.
feat, and, like, the fact that's how he wrapped him up and got his teleport ring off of him because, like, he just webbed him
Yeah,
through geometry, and it's like, boom, like, do different portals, and everything came together and just locked him up. He's like, "Oh, shit."
that's
So Doctor
brilliant
Strange
writing.
couldn't do anything. Huh?
That's brilliant writing.
Oh, yeah, right? I'm like, "Holy shit, who thought this one out?"
Yeah.
But so then Doctor Strange was, like, wasn't locked away, but he was in a different he came out the, they came out of the, mirror dimension, but he was teleported into a like, some far away, and so he had to find his way back, whatever.
Yeah.
So and he didn't have his teleport, so he had to figure out how to do it without
So
that.
like half an hour Ned is like opening portals for everybody.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, then that actually we can skip to the next thing as like they were that's where you go to like, okay, well, let's help you out. And they part so they the thing that we was talking about for the when we did the reaction to the trailer, how Doctor Strange not Doctor Strange, Doc Ock's uh tentacles turn red.
Oh yeah, it's because he latched on to Peter.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Peter hacked like the nanobots, the Stark technology hacked Doc Ock's tentacles.
As he had him, like
Yeah,
Doc Ock grabbed him, and then yeah, man, thank you, Tony, huh?
right. It attached to it. He's like, "Oh, what's this? I like this." And then the suit was telling like, "Hey, you want to pair up with this technology?" I was like,
Yeah,
"What? Pair up
yeah,
like a fucking Bluetooth?" I'm like, and it's like, boop, boop, and he's like, "Oh shit, I can have control of it." Okay,
yeah.
great.
Well, and what's so cool about that? Because in the trailer, because we broke that down and we noticed that in one scene he had just his regular metal tentacles, and
Hmm.
then another scene they were like red. They looked like nanotech.
Yeah.
And we thought that somehow he got a hold of the nanotech and was using that as part of his thing. Like he had control. It was the exact opposite. He latched on to Peter. Peter, like you said, hacked in, like it was like very quickly, it didn't take very long, like hacked into Doc Ock's tentacles and then just had complete control over him. It was cool.
Hmm. It was pretty fucking cool. I was like, okay. And so Doc Ock was like rentless. He's like he couldn't do anything. He's just like, oh, he just has his body, and it's like, oh, okay. No, you better be. And Peter was like, you better be nice, because before I'll never give this back to you or something like that. So yeah, that happened, and that's when Doc Ock got locked up, and that's when they had to figure out to go and capture all the villains.
Yeah, so they
They
capture the villains.
found out was Electro. Jamie Foxx did a great performance again with Electro. I love his performance in that one.
I like Jamie Foxx. He's obviously a good actor. I don't think they did him. I don't think I actually didn't think the writing for him in that movie was that serious. I thought his lines were a little cheesy, a little throwaway.
Well, that's what that's how the Electro is. He's really like he's not really he's flamboyant as his electricity, but his lines always was like his deliver lines in the
Mhm.
comics, and even in the comic book, like the TV shows like that, always like just like cheesy, like stupid shit.
Okay. Okay. Well, that makes it feel
So
a little better because I thought maybe they spent so much time and effort into the whole plot that they just kind of didn't really spend a whole lot of time making sure his lines they fit into the flow of the movie that well. But
yeah.
yeah,
But no, Jamie, I think he did a good job with that one with what he had, and he actually made the character a little more of his own too, like gave his own little swag like
a little
as
bit,
well.
little bit more modern with the haircut and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. I like this one, but they still actually show like if he like did like a energy burst, you saw the his actual suit, the mask,
Hmm.
throwback to the old school Electro and shit like that.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it was overall good. It did a good job with that, I believe. And what else?
And then it's okay. So let's skip ahead because we're right about an hour. So Peter rounds them all up,
Yeah,
and then his goal is against Doctor Strange's wishes is to help them all so that way when they go back they're not bad anymore so they don't die. So
yes,
and then spoiler he does. I think uh except Green Goblin get help. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does actually doesn't die, does he?
yeah. He helps everybody. So
Yeah.
he figured they figure out a cure for everything. Even Doc Ock, they said, okay, fine. They used the same technology and the same machine that created Peter Parker's suit, Spider-Man's suit. And the last one,
That
No
for that
Far
little
From Home.
neurotransmitter that goes on top of the.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that little chip, they replaced that chip, and Doc Ock became normal again because the
Yep.
tentacles wasn't shorted out.
He's
And
like, it's so quiet now.
right, I'm like, oh, your ass is crazy, crazy.
Yeah. When he said that, I almost felt relieved. I was like, "Oh my god, he's been hearing those voices the whole time." Like
Right?
that'd be exhausting, dude.
Having like 4 people talking at you at once, like, shut the fuck up. Do whatever you want.
So he fixes everything, and then what happened after that? And
Oh,
really
so
sad part. Oh, go ahead.
he gives everybody, he's about to fix everybody. He has a solution for everyone, how to fix them so they can be normal and actually survive.
Hmm.
And then once again, when he was they were finishing up with the serum to fix Green Goblin, all of a sudden he felt something. He's like, his spider sense kicked into overdrive, like, and he's like, stop, like, what the fuck? And he walked into the other rooms with all the villains, and there's 5 of them, and he's
Hmm.
like, and May's in there too, and he's like looking around. He's looking at Electro, and this part was like, just like, I'm like, oh, I'm like, look at, like, once again, look at his fucking spider sense.
Hmm.
Like, out of 5 major villains, this is like his Sinister Six, his rogue gallery, they call it. 5 major villains that want to kill Spider-Man, that have always tried to kill Spider-Man.
Hmm.
He had to pinpoint who was the danger.
It's obviously Green Goblin. I mean,
Well, shit, you don't know because like you're hoping that the chip worked right for Doc Ock. That he's not going to turn on. I thought Doc Ock was going to turn on his ass. I honestly thought that. And then Sandman's like, why are you looking at me? And even Lecture like, why are you looking at me? They got getting all hostile now. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, why everybody looking at me? I'm like, oh shit,
Here we
it's about
go.
to
It's
go
all
down.
about to fall apart. Yep.
And then he just, out of everybody, he shot Green Goblin, and that's when Green Goblin said his line like that 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 pesky spider sense of yours. It's a
Oh yeah.
real neat trick that you got there.
Yeah, yeah, Green Goblin. Hey, before we leave, I want to touch on. We haven't even gotten to
I
the
know,
3 Spider-Mans.
right?
I mean, we haven't
Yeah,
even touched on the good guys. So I want to talk about this for a second.
go
So
ahead.
the fact that when they brought back, you saw that first they brought back Andrew Garfield's,
Yeah,
and one thing I loved about his Spider-Man is that it was the exact same thing. That kind of quirky, kind of kind of quick, nervous talk tick he has with the way he talks, and just his kind of back and forth in conversation is very different than Tom Holland's. And but he didn't come back and try to be some like cool, like different version of who he was in the Amazing Spider-Man. It was the exact same one, and he did such a good job.
you know what? Because of that, they're actually going to give him another shot at Spider-Man. They're going to do another project with him for Spider-Man. It's
So
not. It's going to be. I think it's going to be outside of the whole.
so it's just Sony on their own, maybe just
Yeah,
doing
I
it.
think it's going to be Sony on their own doing some shit like that,
Huh.
and that's
Okay.
fine. I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't have a
hey,
problem with that. I mean,
yeah, like I love Spider-Man shit. So I mean, it might have to do something with the who knows? Could be do something with the Into the Spider Verse. I don't
yeah.
know,
And
but
then Tobey Maguire shows
Tobey
up
Maguire
looking
comes in,
60 years old. That's
right? I was
fine.
like, ooh, bro. Like you that outdated Spider-Man, like who's been living life.
Yeah, that and that's what I was saying earlier, the nostalgia factor with the way they were talking and when they were fighting the bad guys together, they were all kind of like bonding over. First of all, at first they were kind of out of sorts because they were all kind of doing their own thing, and then
Yeah.
they decided to really use their spider senses and all work together.
Hmm.
And then after that, it just kind of flowed, and they just kind of took over. But it was really cool to see all 3 Spider-Mans work together like that and have their own style, and the style matched the styles from when they had during when they did their own movies. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, and I love that, like the whole, like you said, them having to mesh together and work together. And Peter's like, Tom Holland Spider Man was like, wait, because everybody, the other two was like, I don't know how to work with. I'm always working with myself. I'm not used to working
Hmm.
with other people. And he's like, well. I'm a part of a team. And he's like, "Oh, you're in a band?" You're
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I'm not in a band." He's like, I'm of the Avengers." Like, "Oh, who's that? Is that a band?" I was like,
Yeah.
"Y'all motherfuckers."
That is crazy though, that because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's the oldest one, it's kind of doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that where he's from, he wouldn't have heard of the Avengers because on his Earth, they would still have the Avengers, no?
Uh, I
I
would
mean, who
think
knows?
so, but yeah, I mean, just for the purpose of this movie, possibly
Again,
not.
when there's that many moving parts, everything's not gonna make sense. There's just no way for it to make
And like
sense.
everything's not exactly 100% like the comics books that how it is in the MCU. So,
Yeah.
um but yeah, so that the all three Spider-Mans was just awesome seeing them together and just like the nostalgia effect and them working together and talking about the different webbings and
Yeah.
how like it comes out like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was like, "Oh yeah, it just comes out." It's like, how do you like does it come out other places or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they had fun. They had fun with that scene.
Yeah,
It was
and
real
then the
good.
bombshell when Aunt May died, that fucked I don't tell you this, I almost cried 3 times in that fucking movie. I teared up, I had to hold it back, I was like, "No, my wife's here, I'm not gonna cry over Spider-Man, I cried over Iron Man, I'm not gonna cry over Spider-Man." So, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was good, and then the last time we probably cried or almost cried was, and this will kind of put a nice little bow on this, is whenever at he basically finds out at the end, the only way to actually fix the problem is to have to redo the spell or something to where nobody knew,
Yeah, no one
right?
it was the you have to listen to the wording too. It's like, "No one on Earth will know that you're Spider-Man. No one in the world will know that you're Spider-Man."
Yeah,
And everyone on in the world
and
that
that
was on
includes the Avengers, right?
yes and no.
What do you yes and no, it's everybody.
So, no, it's not everybody. So, no one on no one in the world will know that he is Spider-Man because of that spell.
Well, Thor will know.
Thor will know, the Guardian of the Galaxies will know, Nick Fury could know because he's off-world.
What about Doctor Strange? He won't know.
Doctor Strange won't know, nope.
Hmm,
Unless he
but they could tell him.
yeah, unless he was in a different dimension at the time, but
Yeah,
So yeah, so that's the thing is like, the wording of that spell is like, okay, cool. And I think it's a great thing because now we're gonna get that original Spider-Man that has to protect his identity again.
yeah.
And
Well, yeah.
yeah, so like now it's like, okay, cool. And at the end, when I saw him walk into the after he left the cafe and everything, and like he had a speech and was gonna try to tell Mary Jane everything and find her and make her remember.
Mhm.
After he left and decided not to do that.
Well, hold on, don't gloss over that because that was a pretty to me, that was where he grew up.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
that's where he grew up. Go ahead.
I
Oh
was
shit. No.
yeah, I don't wanna cut in very long, but he so he goes so they finish the spell to where nobody on Earth knows. That includes Mary Jane, Ned. So he goes to the cafe. uh, I think it's a cafe where
Mhm.
Ned or coffee shop or something where and Ned and Mary Jane or not Mary Jane, MJ are in there and they still know each other. Obviously, they're friends. They're talking, and Peter walks in. They don't know who he is. He's just some guy to them, and he went in there to start to get the ball rolling on telling MJ again and helping her remember, but then he starts thinking, and then he sees the little band-aid she has on her face or
Yeah.
up on her face, and I think in that moment, that's where he knew she could have died. His friends could have died. I think in that moment he realized how selfish he's being by wanting to keep these friendships and relationships.
Yep.
So he decided to, in that moment, just to not tell her, not even get the ball rolling on it, and just walk away. And there's a little more to that scene, but basically he grew up right then. He became an actual mature superhero.
I agree. I agree 100%. And that was like, oh, okay. He's like he's sacrificing his a friendship
He
to
gets
make
it.
sure that himself. It's like
Yeah,
this is what a superhero is supposed to do. It's like you either live, and this is what Toby when was talking about. Like, either you live, you gotta choose one or the other. You can't live both lives.
exactly.
And that was the whole issue that Toby was like, And when Toby got stabbed by Green Goblin, I was like, "Oh, did he just fucking kill one of the Spider-Man?" So I was like,
Oh yeah.
"No!"
Yeah, Green Goblin got Spider-Man. Was that they call him Spider-Man 2 or 3?
I think he was
Oh yeah,
Spider-Man too.
yeah, 2. Because there's a little funny part about that. Andrew Garfield's like, I guess I'm 3 or something like
Yeah.
that.
And it's just like, oh man, like okay. And even that part too, at the end when that Spider-Man got killed, Spider-Man 2 almost got stabbed. He that was an iconic scene, but he had stopped Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Oh, Tom Holland was down there beating the shit out of Green Goblin. He was about to kill
He's
him.
about to kill him, and
Yeah,
he's like,
because oh, did we mention that Green Goblin was the reason
Aunt May died.
Aunt May died because he destroyed the building that she was in and knocked her away, and it was all in all this rubble. And then she gets up, and you're thinking she's got bruised and she's kind of okay. And they're sitting there talking for a second, and then she collapses.
Yeah,
And then right then when she collapsed, I was like, oh, she's died. She's about to
yeah.
die. It was pretty obvious right then. But yeah, that was like cry number 2, I think.
Yep. Yep. That was cry number 2.
They got us good, man. They got us good.
And then she did the line about I'm paraphrasing, but with great power comes great responsibility. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, that's your Uncle Ben. Aunt May is your Uncle Ben. Okay. So I was like, fuck. And I had chills when she said that. I was like, oh. And I was like, all right. And so I just felt the pain for him. I was like, fuck, bro.
Aunt May's dead. His
Yeah.
friends are not gonna know who he is anymore. I mean, it's kind of a sad way to end that movie when you think about it. His aunt's dead. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have his girlfriend anymore. I mean, it's a full on reset.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And like after, so fast forward back to the cafe part, he leaves because he's like, he decides not to tell them. Or I honestly thought that they was gonna make Ned and MJ be dating. I was like, that don't do that.
No, that wouldn't make any sense.
I was like, don't do that.
No. She's too hot for him. Okay.
Hey, I thought that this is how they was gonna do like the best friend, you kill the best friend, or the best friend's gonna kill you. When he said, I promise you I won't kill you or try to kill you as your best friend.
Oh yeah, part. Yeah, there's part. Just go see the movie. There's too
Yeah,
many
go
little
see the
things
movie.
that we could tell you, but Andrew Garfield, they had a funny little moment in there
But
with Ned.
last thing I want to touch on that for me is like when he walked into the apartment at the end,
Okay,
his own apartment, and you see everything empty. It's like a raggedy old
starting over.
New York apartment. That right there was like, okay, this is my introductory into adulthood.
Yeah.
And as Spider-Man, like this is the Spider-Man that we are also used to seeing
Mm-hmm.
working at the Daily Bugle,
Yep.
taking pictures, trying to get by.
No one knows who he is.
No one knows who he is. Taking pictures of himself and selling to JJ, and all shit like that, and like being that menace,
Yeah.
Spider-Man menace, and actually just helping people. I'm like, here we go, here we fucking go.
It's crazy that after 3 iconic Spider-Man movies, and then they get into the multiverse and how epic and just the storyline, how intricate it got, it almost went right back to Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man with
Yes,
no tricks or nothing to it. It was back to just him, but no one knew who he was. He's living in some crappy little apartment in Queens. It almost went back to basics. But you almost kind of have to do that because
yeah.
where do you go from the Spider-Verse or from the multiverse? Like, I mean, you can't just keep fucking going crazier and crazier and crazier. I mean,
So Spider-Man has a deep story, and it's crazy because like Spider-Man is everyone who's actual as a spider person was destined to be that a spider person. So there's a whole like it's so deep that you're like, holy shit, really? Okay, I was like, even when myself I found, I was like, what? Like, okay, there's something called spider totems and all that stuff like that, but that's a whole nother podcast. But
that's too much for me right now.
yeah, but no, yeah, it was for overall great movie. I'm gonna see it again. I loved it. I highly recommend you'll see it if you like superheroes. Bless you. If you
Thank you.
don't like superheroes, don't go see it. If you've never seen none of the Spider-Man movies, you will still like this one. You'll still enjoy it. I
You'll enjoy it
recommend.
more if you honestly, and I hate asking my to go through all this, but if you go watch all the Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield ones, you'll appreciate a lot more of this movie.
Yes, yes. It has that nostalgia. It has more of like the whole backstory of behind the villains and all stuff like that.
Well, it'll make more sense to like who the fuck are
It
these
will.
guys, you know?
It will. Yeah. So I agree. Yeah, 100%. But yeah, great movie. I'm gonna see it again. I know we butchered the review because for time restraints, we could have probably made it 2 episodes. But hey, that's what we do.
Well, Ryan, I had fun. It's always fun talking about superhero stuff and not COVID-19. Me just saying that word probably got this fucking episode like with a little COVID-19 thing at the bottom.
Right?
But anyways, I had fun. We'll be back on a Monday with another episode, so be on the lookout for that. Please like the channel. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Maybe share it somewhere, and we'll see you guys next time. Take
All right.
care.
See you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.